The day begins with the quiet hum of the garden center, the streets still calm, and the air promising warmth later in the day. But before the heat sets in, there's work to do, an entire city's worth of flower pots waiting for care. Each basket and planter downtown holds not just plants, but the spirit of the community. Their blooms are more than color. They're a symbol of pride, beauty, and the small joys that greet every passerby. Today, it's not just watering. It's about nurturing the heartbeat of the city, and every pot tells a story of dedication. The routine seems simple: fill a tank, drive the side by side, and water pot after pot. Yet in reality, it feels like carrying forward a tradition. These planters have been loved for years, often by just a handful of people giving their time and effort so the entire town could enjoy beauty without lifting a finger. And here we are, continuing that cycle, weaving our own memories into each bloom, each splash of water, each corner brightened by pinks, whites, and vibrant greens. As we roll through the downtown, it's impossible not to notice the transformation. Earlier in the season, these plants were just starting, small and unassuming, clinging to the promise of summer. Now, they've grown into full cascades of blossoms, their colors overflowing like waves from the baskets. It's proof that patience and care always reward those who give it. And though the streets are quiet this morning, the flowers speak loudly enough. They draw the eye, they lift spirits, and they make the city feel alive. Driving the side by side brings its own little adventures, tight corners, rattling bumps, and the constant awareness of the water sloshing behind. It's noisy, it's imperfect, but it works. And in some ways, it mirrors gardening itself, unpredictable, a little messy, but always worth it. Each pot demands its share of attention, some showing off their strength, others quietly struggling, waiting for that extra boost of nutrients or iron to bring them back to glory. Even here, you're reminded of a truth about life: sometimes a little support makes all the difference. The baskets above are perhaps the most striking. Balls of pink and white spilling over like clouds frozen in bloom. They look effortless, but behind them is years of learning, mistakes, and countless hours with hoses and fertilizer. Once upon a time, this watering was a daily, endless task, holidays included. Now, with the city stepping in part-time, the load is lighter, but the satisfaction remains. Walking this routine, you realize how much small acts of beauty matter. A single planter might go unnoticed by many, but together, they shape the soul of downtown. As the watering continues, stories flow alongside. A memory of a grant that sparked this project. A reminder of other cities whose beauty planted inspiration. A laugh about the clumsy hose that always seems to kink, or about the side-by-side brake that confuses even the most confident drivers. It's more than just a task. It's family, it's connection, it's the weaving of daily life into something meaningful. Even the challenges, the stolen plants, the wilting blooms, are part of the story. They don't erase the beauty, they highlight how precious it really is. When the tank begins to run low, a little urgency creeps in. Will there be enough water to finish the last block? The gauge dips, the pump sounds different, and for a moment it feels like everything might stop short. But, just as in seasons past, the water stretches to the very last pot. Somehow, it always does. And that small victory, the kind only those who've watered to the last drop understand, feels like a triumph worth celebrating. Of course, no morning like this ends without a pause to savor. Coffee and bagels await, a reward for the work, a moment to sit back and breathe in satisfaction. A caramel latte, a mocha smoothie, a bagel with everything on it. The simple joys that feel extra earned after hours in the sun with dirt on your hands. These pauses are what anchor the memories, giving balance to the busy rhythm of planting, watering, and caretaking. Back home, the garden itself waits. Some sedum has struggled, and now it's time to give it a second chance. The soil here tells its own tale. Too much water pooling where it shouldn't, roots suffocating under what should have been life-giving. Yet the beauty of gardening is that nothing is final. Pull back what's weak, plant what's new, and in time the space transforms again. 3 plants tucked here, 6 more there, each one placed with vision and hope for what they will become next season. Sedum is resilient, but even the strongest plants suffer when the balance is off. Their leaves turn from rich tones to faded shades when water overwhelms them. But with the adjustment of irrigation and the right care, their beauty will return. And already, against the backdrop of grasses, salvias, and butterfly bushes, the new plantings look as though they were meant for this spot. A few snips of chamomile, a clearing of echinacea, and suddenly the garden breathes easier, lighter, refreshed. It's a reminder that gardening isn't about perfection, it's about partnership. You work with the soil, the seasons, the whims of weather. Sometimes things thrive, sometimes they fail. But each time you step back, you see that the effort is never wasted. Even when something dies back, it makes space for something new. And when you return season after season, the garden always offers more than it takes. As the last sedum is planted, the scene feels complete. Not just the beds, not just the baskets, but the day itself. The watering of city pots, the laughter shared with family, the challenge of keeping blooms thriving, the joy of a shared meal, the quiet work of planting anew, it all weaves together into something more than gardening. It becomes a story of life lived fully, with beauty and care at its center. This isn't just about flowers or food. It's about community. It's about resilience. It's about savoring simple joys while knowing that tomorrow, the work begins again. Because beauty doesn't just happen, it's created, nurtured, and protected, one plant, one pot, one seed at a time. And when the sun sets on a day like this, with flowers watered, gardens refreshed, and bellies full, you carry a quiet satisfaction. Not from perfection, but from presence. Because every bloom, every sip of coffee, every moment spent caring for something living, these are the details that make life whole.